type. So in your own case, you were, by your own admission, quite a drinker and taking drugs and living quite a wild life. And, I think there's some kind of there's some value in telling that story, for perhaps even for the sake of some people who are going through a similar thing, or maybe feeling there's no hope for them. If you'd like to go into it a little bit.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, there's always hope to the extent that things do change, and my story is very much an example of that. I was, as you mentioned, from the age of 16 until I was 35, so for 19 years, I was an alcoholic and a drug addict. And that that disease, because I do consider it to be a disease of the body and the mind, progressed over the course of that 19 years till towards the end, I was drinking a fifth of liquor every day, doing a gram of cocaine every day, smoking a lot of powerful pot every day, just to get through the day. And I wasn't partying, I was just trying to survive. And I was very, very ill. I didn't realize it, but my wrists and ankles were swollen with alcoholic edema. I had lost fine control of my bladder, so that there was a small leak of urine, which I caught with a wad of toilet paper shoved down my pants that I had to change every half an hour or so. And this was my physical condition. And my mental condition was that I thought constantly about drinking and doing drugs. This was my life.
Had you managed to go to college or finish your education?
Oh yeah, no, I managed to finish my education. I managed to start a business that had some degree of success, and through various strikes of good fortune, I managed to do okay for myself for a while. I was married to a woman who worked, and I was able to get through life. And I drank up the business, but I had a business partner, and he continued to work, so I was able to live. I mean, just somehow make it through. But I was physically and spiritually bankrupt, totally out of gas at every level, but I didn't know it. And I had no desire to change my lifestyle, but at the end of a 4-day drunk on Memorial Day in 1985, I was laying in bed after being up for several days trying to pass myself out, and I was unable to do so. I was just laying there, and suddenly I felt this compulsion that had been part of me for many, many years disappear. And I didn't even, in its disappearance, I realized its presence. But I felt it go. I physically felt it go. And I realized, I had a blinding moment of clarity, that my life had just changed. Something had just happened. And it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I realized that this way of living was over. So I threw myself a going-away party. I went downstairs, I got the rest of the alcohol out of the cabinet, and I just drank as much as I possibly could, because I decided I was going to go and turn myself in to AA in the morning. And so even though I didn't know anything about them, I did the rest of the coke that I had and drank as much of the liquor as I could, and I was stone sober.
Really?
Maddeningly sober.
It seemed to have no effect on you.
It had no effect. It was the most bizarre experience.
I wonder if that's because you had done so darn much that you were kind of inured to it.
I have no explanation for it.
Wow.
It was just something had radically changed.
Huh.
And so from that point to this, that compulsion, that absolute compulsion, has been gone.
So you never drank or did drugs since then?
No.
Huh. It's amazing. I wonder what happened. You know, I mean, astrology people would say, oh, this happened on that particular date, you know, Jyotish, and some other types of people would say you were blessed by some celestial being or something. I mean, who knows? I mean,
right. And I am unconcerned with explanations.
Yeah.
The whole focus of my life and my teaching is on what is.
Right.
Rather than the explanation of what is, all of which is a story.
Yeah.
So whether you can tell an astrological story, you can tell a psychological story, you can tell, you know, an extraterrestrial story.
And it's all speculation.
And exactly. But the fact of what happened, happened. You know.
So did you join AA?
As you may know, AA is an anonymous organization.
Oh, so you're not supposed to say whether you joined?
Well, and one of its principles is that people maintain anonymity at the level of press, radio, and television and internet.
I see.
So I make no public claims to membership in any organization, any anonymous 12-step organization, although I certainly qualify for several. And I'm very familiar with those programs and their principles, and respect them very highly.
Sure. So that was a new chapter in your life, so you must have wondered, okay, well, now what am I going to do?
Well, what I wondered was, you see, what power in the universe could transform me like this?
Yeah, that's what I was just wondering, you know, when I asked you that question.
Yeah, because I always was of the opinion, as most people are, that we're really, you know, to varying degrees, the masters of our destinies, that we make things happen, that we decide, and then we do them. And it was so clear to me that I had not been the one to do this. You know, I was not the source of this.
Yeah.
You know, even though my family was congratulating me on such a good job at cleaning up my life and things, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that I had not done this. So the question was, what had?
This must be why this whole